Oh, I'm ugly as fuck. I just realized that. Whatever. Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today we're reacting to a true story. Very true. If you don't believe it, you're going to be dead forever. But basically, we're going to be reacting to this true story of this girl who was in coma for 7 years and could hear everything. Yeah, like that happens, of course.
Hi there, I'm Aria. Imagine
What's
yourself
up?
not being able to say, I'm hungry, I'm hurting, thank you, I love you. Imagine yourself being imprisoned inside a body which doesn't obey your orders at all. People are all around you, yet you feel alone. It wouldn't be easy, would it?
Nice.
Well, I lived for years feeling this way. Years of wishing for the ability to connect, to express, to share with others. Maybe you're wondering about the reason? Well, it was that I fell off the tree. I was my mom and dad's only child. We were a middle-class family and we lived in a small house with a stunning backyard, which had an old oak tree that was said to be even older than my grandparents. When my dad first bought the house, he found a tree house in the oak tree built by the kids who'd lived in the house before us. After a lot of convincing, my father agreed to fix the tree house. He even made a wooden ladder so I could climb into the tree easily. I remember helping my dad decorate its walls with posters.
Why do kids like tree houses that much? I don't know. Us kids in Sweden love computers. If we get the new gaming chair, you know how much we're gonna love that. Like, you know what? PewDiePie is so famous. He plays games. He's good at it. He loves to sit inside. Most American kids like these classical American movies. Oh yes, but can we not go to the treehouse? Can we not go to the treehouse? Vanessa, come to the treehouse. You know what you get it.
And photos of my favorite band. For a second, you might be thinking, what a sweet family. But no, this wasn't the case exactly. You see, my mom was a moody woman who yelled a lot, and nothing me or my dad did could please her. She would spend the whole night smoking cigarettes in front of the TV and then sleep the whole day. As for my dad, he spent his time working so he could pay the bills and buy us food. And me, well, after I got home from school, there was nothing for me to do but go and play with my dolls in the treehouse. For my 13th birthday, my dad bought me the best gift ever. He bought me a little white puppy that was super fluffy. I called him Snowball. Perhaps this dog would keep me company so I wouldn't be so alone. I loved Snowball and I taught him.
If you're alone, just get some friends. Like, that's as meaningless as, this girl, she said like this. If you're homeless, just buy a home. That's a very famous meme.
Lots of tricks. We used to spend all day together in the treehouse. We would only go home to eat dinner. That way, we steered clear of my mom's yelling and her long fights with my dad. I watched the sky a lot during my days in the treehouse. Back then, my dad only...
I watched the skies a lot during my days in the treehouse. It's like you're talking about like a fucking massive adventure like that.
Came home after the sun had set, so I'd watch the stars lighting up the sky. They looked amazing. I knew that those stars were nothing but meteors traveling fast through the sky as they burned, but everything my dad told me about them made them seem magical. One time, I was watching the sky with Snowball, waiting for my dad to return home. When he arrived, he climbed up and sat beside me. He said, "This falling star is a wish that just came true for someone out there in the world." "A wish?" I said. He explained a long time ago there was a poor man praying to the gods every day. However, the gods were always busy, so they didn't answer him. One day, he screamed so loudly the mountains shook. The gods looked at him and listened to his troubles. They became so sad and cried burning stars. So this way, whenever he saw a falling star in the sky, he'd make a wish and the gods would make them come true. "But can this be possible?" I asked. And he replied, "Legends are a beautiful thing to hear, but not to believe." "If the legends are so old, how can we know if they are true or not?" I asked. He just smiled at me and said it was time to head back into the house. On that same night, while I was lying in bed hugging Snowball, it started to feel like my life was falling apart. My mom was screaming hysterically at my dad, telling him that the money he was bringing in was no longer enough and that he should start searching for an extra job.
He should start searching for an extra job. He already working a full-time job, like like a builder or something like that. If I'm right. And she sitting in front of the fucking couch like a lazy moron, smoking cigarettes. If this actually is true, that's just fucking disgusting. Disgusting!
She said that she could no longer go out with her friends because she was so embarrassed. She couldn't afford to buy new dresses every time they went out like her friends did. I saw Snowball looking at me as if he wanted to say, "What a silly woman." The fighting and loud screaming continued for a long time until I could no longer bear it. I snuck out of the window and headed towards the dark oak tree in the backyard. Everything around me was dark. Behind me walked Snowball. We crept very quietly.
What's it? It's a Snowball. Is a parkour legend now. Honka parkour out the window.
So no one would hear us, and then we arrived at the treehouse. It was pitch black, so I missed a step on the ladder, and then my leg slipped. The last thing I remembered from that day was that after I fell hard on the ground, everything around me turned fuzzy. Snowball sounded far away, even though I could see him jumping around me. Then I wasn't able to feel anything. After a little while, I felt myself waking up. My head hurt and I couldn't feel any part of my body. I'd completely lost control over my body parts. Even my eyes, I couldn't open them. I could feel the light around me, but it was too difficult to open my eyes. Oh my, what happened to me? Was I stuck in my sleep? Or was it worse than that? Had I died? I didn't know much about death, except that after death, a person drowns in darkness. But this darkness I felt was different. Completely different. I could feel my body freezing. Suddenly I heard someone. If I was able to hear him, that means I wasn't dead. Thank God. From his tone of voice, I gathered he was a doctor speaking to my parents. He said, "The damage she suffered to her head due to the fall has resulted in severe internal bleeding in her brain, which is preventing enough oxygen from reaching her body, resulting in a coma." But I wasn't in a coma. I was there, with them. I heard my dad crying and my mom inquiring about the treatment fees. I wanted to scream, to call out for them, to say something, anything. But I wasn't able to even talk at that time. Suddenly, I was just a vegetable, unable to do anything but listen. Most people don't think twice before talking or connecting with others. They do it automatically. But I had absolutely no way of speaking to anyone. For the last 13